Hey, 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 what's up? What's up? I be saying some weird things. Well, not even just saying weird things. I be just, how I say it. It's I laugh at myself, and I love laughing at myself because it's like a good laugh at myself. To be like, man, you are so weird, but I love it. You know, kind of vibe. Anywho. I wanted to get on here and talk about mainly my weight loss journey and really how it's like affected me in so many different ways. So for me, with starting my weight loss journey, it was more of a self-love journey, I like to call it, because it was like I didn't want to focus so much just on the weight loss, and I had done that before. And so this had been, you know, my second time going into really just trying to change, trying to better myself, trying to like really understand myself better. And, you know, really focus more on just getting more, you know, fit, being able to feel healthier overall. And for me, it was, you know, more about, it used to be more about the physical. It used to be, you know, more about my confidence. But I got way more than that. And for me, like, throughout the journey, there was just a lot of different experiences. And this is why I talk about it the way I do, because in society, I believe, we look at weight loss as a good thing, right? We look at it as, oh, you lost so much weight, you look so good. But it's like, for me, it's like I looked good, you know, no matter what. And it wasn't so much about the weight loss. It was so more so that, you know, I did it because I wanted to, in a sense, prove to myself that I could do it again, but also prove to other people that I'm still the same person that I was when I was a bigger size. There's really, and what I mean by the same person was I'm still a loving, caring individual. I'm not going to change just because I glowed up, or whatever you want to call it. Just because I look the way I look now doesn't mean I, you know, felt that way before. Because I had a lot of confidence when I was, so my starting weight was like I think I want to say 356. And now I'm at, I haven't really kept track of my weight now, because that's another thing. Like, for me, it's not really about the weight loss, because we focus on a certain size, we focus on a certain, you know, look we want to have, a certain shape and whatnot, but that in itself is an illusion. You know, me, I just wanted to love my body the way it was. Me, I wanted to really just disconnect from people who only liked me for how I looked and judged me for how I looked. Because I got, like, my whole entire life I've been judged on my looks, y'all. Like, you know, they look at, like, I've had just so many people, especially when I was, you know, at 356, because there's people, you know, today that don't know I've lost weight, and they still, like, you know, judge me because, you know, I'm still considered a plus size woman. I'm still considered, you know, fat. I'm still considered all these things, you know, and it's funny because it's like, that's just their mindset. That's a reflection of them, right? You know, me, I know my journey, but it can also cause you to almost go into like this imposter syndrome, to where you feel as if you're still that size. And even though I've lost over 100 pounds, there's still some times where I feel like I'm that same individual. I look that same way. And I have to remind myself that, you know, one, the scale doesn't reflect that. But two, you know I'm not that. You know, that's just an illusion. That's just a fear from other people's projection kind of thing. And so throughout this whole journey, this self-love, and it really was like more of a spiritual awakening journey for me as well too, because that's when I really started to not only focus on myself, my health, my physical health, because, you know, I had a lot of concerns with my physical health and whatnot, but also, you know, cutting people out of my life that, you know, didn't respect me, that didn't respect my boundaries, that, you know, didn't have that reflection of themselves, that didn't want to grow, that didn't, you know, were stuck in a certain mindset as well. Because when you surround yourself with people within a mindset that is just low vibrational. And what I mean by that is just someone who thinks they can't do things, they can't, you know, lose weight, they can't, you know, be healthy, they can't, you know, they're always broke, you know, shit like that, right? It's just more of a negative mindset instead of a positive. And I noticed that even with myself, like I would start to be influenced by that. And me originally, I'm already a positive individual, and I had to realize that. Like I've only been at this part of my life. This is just a point in my life where I've fought to get to, you know, here, right? And I've always had to be very positive about it in a sense. Whereas, like, yeah, it might have been, you know, intense journey, you know, there's a lot of chaos and frustration, but at the same time I knew, like, I just kept going. I kept having that fight within myself that it's going to get better, right? It's like that little spark of hope within inside of you that, you know, like, shit has hit the fan right now, but you just got to be like, it is what it is, kind of thing. And that's how I've always been. And I had to even remind myself that as well too, because it's like sometimes we get in certain connection situations where it kind of influences us to be more negative, or you know, you kind of just, you know, blend in with the crowd in a sense, to where it's like it starts off as positive, it starts off as good, and there's certain moments that are really, really positive, but there's also, you know, once you like disconnect and overlook it overall, it's really more negative, you know, in a sense, because it's like you're in a, you know, and what I mean by negative, it's just not a, it's a staying the same kind of mindset. So you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like, there's really nothing, there's not too much happening, like maybe in a positive light, but that you're not really going too much anywhere in a sense. And that's just more of like a mental thing. You're not developing more of yourself. And in a sense you are, because I know for myself, that's kind of what got me to disconnect from environments, from people, was because I started to become just more self-aware and started to realize that a lot of these situations and experiences were kind of hindering me in a way where I just felt exhausted. I felt overwhelmed. I questioned a lot of myself, and I just, you know, started to be more observant, especially with people, with their words, and, you know, how they talked to me or what they said to me, because I got and sometimes people are not even aware of this, and it's funny, because for me, you know, I had to recognize that within myself. There's certain things that I say too that I'm not always aware of, and I might realize it like later, right? And so there's that little delay. And so for me, it was like I really wanted to take the time to just really observe people, their actions, their words, and just the overall experience of how I felt afterwards. And so it was like, okay, so I'm gonna start doing this with everyone, every single person. And for me, it was like, okay, there were certain people that were harder to disconnect from than others. But at the same time, it was like, I know I needed to disconnect, not because I didn't care about them or didn't love them or just didn't want to be around them. It was just more, it was really draining me in a way where even when I said certain things or try to be positive, right, with them, it was almost as if they didn't get it. Like, it wasn't like they weren't hearing it, right? And so through all this, even with, you know, the weight loss, the just reflection on my whole entire life, it started, you know, helping me awaken to like how really powerful I really am and who I really am. Because I've always been this beautiful soul, you know, we're in these vessels for a reason, but it's like our soul is what really truly is who we are, and we need to awaken it. We need to disconnect from society, from certain things that have kind of molded us into something that we really aren't. And over time, it's you know, you're going through multiple different rebirths, and that's what I was going through. even with connecting with new people, you know, that I really, you know, connected with. But even then, it was like I was still going through these rebirths. And even now, like, I'm still, like, it's ever evolving, always changing, right? We're always moving forward, but our minds can stay stuck in the past. And this was the thing with, like, with my weight loss, you know, like, sometimes, like, my mind would go back to these, like, understandings of me being at this size or yada yada, even though I've already come so far, right? And, like, I had this happen before when my first time when I lost over 100 pounds. Like, I had lost over 100 pounds. I didn't realize, like, I didn't really take many pictures before, but it was like I didn't realize how I looked before and after, because it was after, like, I had already been working out, doing like all this, you know, military training, firefighting, all these things, but mentally I was just, like, still unstable. And, like, there would people be like, well, when you lose weight, even though I had already lost 100 pounds, because most people don't know your journey. Most people don't understand, like, where you came from and what your experiences you've gone through and all that. Like, a lot of people don't know that I was sexually assaulted over a year ago. A lot of people don't know that, you know, I've been through multiple different car accidents. A lot of people don't know that, you know, I've like pretty much survived death like thousands of times, okay? You know, and that's, like, not like a starter conversation you want to start with new people you connect with. It's not like a conversation that you just, like, bluntly go into. And so most people, you know, they might judge you right off the bat just because of your looks. You know, and that's what just society is. We have this, and it's like a natural thing that we do, right? Because even myself, I do it, you know, and I try not to where it's like, you know, like, it's like, I don't know this person, you know, I want to get to know this person, I want to understand them, and that's why I'm very observant of, you know, people, and just very careful who I allow in my life now. You know, not only just allow in my home, but in my entire life, because that's a very big thing for me, a very important thing for me, especially now, is because I've been, you know, one of those persons that I love connecting with people. I'm a social butterfly. I love making friends. You know, but I've had to learn, you know, even with friendships, right? Not just romantic relationships, but friendships and all, that, you know, sometimes the people that you connect with, like, everything happens for a reason, but you realize over time that they're either really not your friend, one, or two, they just, like, it's not working anymore, and so you just gotta part ways. And so that was, like, a big thing for me throughout my, you know, my journey, and it's been about 2 years now, is when I really started, like, focusing on my overall health, my overall, you know, weight loss, you know. And a lot of the stuff, like, when I lost weight the first time, like, I had done a lot of intensity workouts. So I'm one of those persons that, you know, I like running. I love, you know, to play sports. I love doing, like, intense workouts and stuff like that. But I wasn't physically able to do all that. It was already hard for me as is. But at the same time, you know, I really had to be very careful, and I didn't want to push myself into, because it was a mental thing. So it was like, mentally I wanted to push myself, but physically I wasn't, you know, where I used to be, obviously. And so it was like, okay, I need to start with realistic goals, realistic things for me now. So walking and swimming and intermittent fasting was a big thing for me that I started. You know, that's what really helped me ignite. And then also, of course, foods, right? Certain foods that I ate. Now, I wasn't, like, really picky about my foods, because that's one thing I've learned within my journey is, you know, when looking outside of yourself, when, you know, searching for people that do certain foods for themselves, or looking at what foods, like, help with weight loss and whatnot, like, that was, like, I think my biggest struggle. was the fact that I love food. Like, I really, really love food. And I would eat fast food all the time, but at the same time, I was getting high as well. So it was like, okay, that was a big reason why I stopped smoking marijuana as well too. But it was like, I still want to eat food. Like, I still want to eat good food, and I don't want to make it to where it's like, oh, well, I have to cut calories and do all this extra shit. That to me is just like, I'm like, no, I want to be able to just eat. And so me, already having really the education behind, food and my body, it's like, we need to eat what works for us, because we might get a trainer, we might, go on YouTube, we might look at other people and what they're doing, but at the end of the day, we don't know like how their body functions, how it all works for them, because they could be able to eat, certain foods and be fine. And then you got to think of allergies and all this extra shit, right? So it's like, for me, it's like, okay, what can I handle? Because at the same time, I don't have a gallbladder, so certain foods like already are affected by me, and my body functions differently. And so that's why I went with intermittent fasting, because that's the best way to not only detox your body, but it's the fastest way to lose fat. And at the same time, like, if you do like fasting, like especially like 16 hours or 18 hours, which I had to work up to 18 hours, that it's not easy. You have to understand, like, you can eat whatever, but even if you eat whatever, like the certain foods that you eat, like, especially if it's like chips or burgers, because me, I'm a chips and burgers girl, okay? I love that food. And like, that can like still make you, hungry, it's harder for you to fast. So I also needed to find foods that not only I liked to eat, that would satisfy me and like hold me throughout the fast too. So yeah, and so there was just a lot of little details that a lot of people, don't understand or don't, see. Because it's like, one, it's not just only a mental thing, but it's understanding yourself and what you like and what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and just enjoying the journey overall. Plus, you got to think of, all these other aspects, who you're surrounded by, your environment and whatnot. And so for me, I felt it was, very, I don't want to say easy, because it wasn't easy. It was just more, I can't think of the word right now, but it was just more, I was more able to like, be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to work on, and I'm just going to go with the flow. And the other thing was not too much focusing on the weight, just in accepting who I was now, loving myself now, right? Having that confidence now, because one, I'm also an artist, and I love, being able to perform, having that confidence within myself, because confidence isn't just about your looks. The confidence is really about belief in yourself. Even if you like have certain fears or have certain insecurities, you're just like, well, I still have that confidence within myself that I'm still enough no matter what. I'm still good, babe. I'm still good, okay? And so that's what, I had to work on too. Because it's like, I had confidence, in so many ways. But it was when I got around certain people that it was like, it was almost as if like my confidence like started to like kind of go down, just because of, people's projections or beliefs or whatnot, or, views of me. And that's where I would get frustrated. And so it was just like, okay, first of all, these people, it is what it is. And at the second time, it's just like, well, let me just disconnect to really build my foundation within myself, my confidence with myself. So when I do get around people that are kind of like envious or jealous because of my confidence, it's like, listen, boo, like, you can be envious or jealous, or you can have this projection of me, you know, but at the same time, it's like, that's just a reflection of yourself, because it's like, you need to really check yourself and just be more mindful of what you say. And, you know, same goes for me, you know, because sometimes we get so caught up in other people's influence to where it's like, oh shit, like, you know, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but at the same time, it can be so frustrating and hard just to like for me, when people would give me compliments about my looks, like sometimes it would be so hard just to accept that compliment, because there would be times where it's like, are they really complimenting me? Because I've had so many low-graded compliments, like, you're so confident for a big girl, or like, I don't know how you're confident, and you know, you look the way you look, and stuff like that, right? But it's even like certain things that I've experienced, you know, even in my childhood, the fact that, you know, I wasn't even like a big kid, but I was still like, you know, shunned because of my weight, and certain things like that. I mean, there was even a time where I was homeless, right? I was homeless. I had the money. I was working. The job was like super close to this place, and I was gonna like rent this room, and it was a guy, of course. But it was a nice little place, and it was perfect walking distance to my job at the time. And I went to go, you know, give him the money, look at the room, and he didn't want to take the money at first, and I thought that was weird. I was like, okay, why not? And so I left. I was like, okay, just let me know when you're ready to take the money. And me, you know, like, that's where I've realized, you know, also I have a lot of like very spiritual gifts, right? Because I can like usually sense when somebody is lowballing me, or just like, there's something, I may not know exactly what it is, but there's something that I'm sensing that it's not that good energy, right? And at the time I didn't understand this, but I was like, that was weird. And so I left, and he texted me. He said, I don't think it's gonna work out. And I was like, what? Why? And this is literally him texting me saying it's because I'm fat. Like he even said, like, I went to school, and it says when you surround yourself with, you know, fat, unhealthy people, like, you become fat. And I was like, he did not just say that to me. And it's funny now, because it's like, I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, like, that's like your fear. Like, you're afraid to become fat because you want to surround yourself with me. One, I wasn't even that fat, but two, like, he didn't know my situation. Like, the fact that, one, I had been on a lot of psychic medications, I had been homeless. So when you're going through that, you're not only stressed out and going through, like, a lot of people don't realize like, you don't just gain weight just by being pregnant, right? There's a lot of other reasons why people gain weight, due to health concerns, due to medications, due to intense stress, due to so many different things. And me now, it's just like, oh, well, that wasn't even meant to be anyways. So it's like a ha 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 in his face. But at the same time, it's just like, this is how I've just experienced a lot of people like that, where their mentality is just like, it's like, yeah, there's like no words for it. It's like I want to say, like, I think you're fucked up. Like, you need to like figure your shit out, right? And for me, like, that's where I feel like I'm very knowledgeable about this, talking about this stuff with weight loss, with health, with overcoming obstacles, with just so many different things, because I've experienced it. And that's one thing about me. I don't like to talk about too many things, and talk about things that I haven't really experienced myself, because even though I've experienced it, everybody has a different experience with it. And that's the frustrating part. We assume by what we watch or what we see on TV yada, 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 and music, or whatever you listen to, or whatever you surround yourself, we assume that's all it is. And that's just our own reality. That's our own world. And a lot of people have been in that reality, that world, for so long, and nothing has really changed. No experiences. Like, it's like being at a job for 10 years, and you've been at that job for 10 years, and you've never had any other experience, just that job, But, like, for me, like, I've had multiple different jobs. I've had multiple different experiences, and so that's why I can speak on so many of these things. I've not only lost weight, I've not only been through multiple different, traumas, I've overcome a lot of them. And me now, it's like I still get that projection of people thinking, whatever they're thinking. Because one, it's none of my business what people are thinking. But when people say certain things or come to me, or, the experiences I've had in the past, because now I don't really deal with that. It's more so if I'm talking to somebody on the phone. But in the past, I dealt with that so much, right? And so now I talk about it, I utilize my voice, not only through my music, but also just with my videos on TikTok and YouTube here, to just really spread more, like, self-awareness, love, and respect. Because it's like, you can tell somebody you love them. You can tell somebody that they're beautiful, but it's up to them to believe that for themselves, to believe that they love themselves, to believe that they're beautiful. And that's what I had to work on myself with my journey. And I still, even though I've always been working on loving myself and moving forward, you're still going to get people, whether it's family, friends, just occasional people that come into your life, anybody, right? You're still going to get that projection energy, because people, you don't know people's mindset, right? You don't know where they're coming from, and so forth. And so even though I've worked so hard to just, know who I am, love me for me, and really not even care about people's opinion, even if it's a good opinion, right? Like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. It's just really just accepting that and saying thank you. And knowing that's also a good compliment too, because there is people out there that will just give you compliments, and it's really not a compliment. It's like a low grade compliment kind of thing, if you get my drift. But in that sense, it's been a journey. It's been a journey for myself, and I'm so grateful for the experiences, and to be able to talk about them, in a way to where it's like I'm healing from them. I've healed from a lot of them, and it's like, what? It is what it is. And there's going to be more, experiences. But to me, it's like, everything happens for a reason, And it's connected me to where I'm at today. It's connected to my mindset, my life, and just, who I am in general. And it's like, it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay. And so, if you're struggling with, just self-love, self-assurance, knowing who you are, just know, like, you're right where you need to be, you're right where you need to be, because everything happens for a reason. The negativity, the karma, the stress, the ups and downs, the roller coasters. And it's just, holding on to that little spark of hope within yourself, holding on to that light within yourself, that that there's better for you out there. You may not see it, you may not feel it, you may not, even kind of want it right now, but eventually, hopefully you do. Or you may not even know what it looks like, because I know me, like, I didn't really picture this life, I pictured a better life, but I didn't know all the details. So it's like, it's all a part of the process, the journey, in the moment right now, and enjoying it, and just doing your best, doing the best you can, and not beating yourself up, just being compassionate with yourself, because it is a journey. Remember, it is a journey. But with that, I'm going to end here. Thank you for watching. Plus, I also want to start adding, you know, if you really want to check out my music, I'm only on SoundCloud right now, but I've also started a new TikTok, so where you can listen to some of my current music that I've been writing and past music that I've been writing. But a lot of my, recorded songs are on SoundCloud. And then, I'm creating this new TikTok to post, videos of, my songs that I've been writing. So go follow me on both my TikToks, at That Ancient Chick, and the other one's Faye Empire. And then, my SoundCloud. So go check out my music, because that's like really what I've been, working on currently, is my music, and of course so much more. So peace, love, bye.